According to 2015 statistics of the General Department of Tourism, from 12,000 employees in 1990, at the moment, Vietnam's tourism industry has 1.8 million employees, including 570,000 direct labor. Each year, Vietnam needs nearly 40,000 extra laborers, but the amount of hospitality graduates is only about 15,000 cases per year, among which over 12% have college degrees or higher. As the ASEAN Economic Community or AEC is being established, then mutual recognition arrangement for tourism professionals would officially take effect in AEC. This allows skilled workers in the tourism sector from the ASEAN countries to work in Vietnam and vice versa. This is an opportunity for the booming development of the labor market in Vietnam's hospitality industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shang Vietnam on VTC10 NetViet. In our program today, our guest speaker, Mr. Justin Paul Phut, the CEO of Pegasus International College, will share with us on his experience about how to improve the quality of hospitality training programs. Let's welcome him to our talk today. Thank you, Mr. Justin, so much for joining Shang Vietnam. What impressions do you get about the hospitality industry in Vietnam? Is there any changes from the first time that you were here until today?
Yes, enormous changes. Look, I first came to Vietnam 5 years ago as a consultant for education, and that was in my capacity working in Australia at the time. The changes that I see from then to now are enormous. The level of language has definitely improved, and English language is something that is a requirement for tourism growth, and that is, something that is recommended by the ASEAN Secretariat, that the common tourism language is English. Skills have definitely improved, but what I have seen also is a skills shortage, because the growth of tourism is such rapid that it's providing enough training for the student and skilled training to meet the requirements in the market. The other thing I want to add is the breadth of hotels that are now here in Vietnam, international and also local brands, and there's some very good local brands as well, but also international chained restaurants, the emergence even of things like Starbucks into Vietnam, or McDonald's or Subway. Those things have all transformed over the last 5 years, and so is the infrastructure that goes with the tourism industry.
What about the potential of this industry, and what are the demands here at the current moment of the labour market?
Very exciting. The growth in Vietnam that I've experienced and witnessed firsthand in the last 3 years has been amazing. Now living in Da Nang and seeing the opening of many new international hotels that have emerged, also the opening of the new international airport in Da Nang, and then more recently here in Hanoi, the opening of the new airports. And that has seen an enormous growth in tourism and hospitality related services, whether it be in accommodation or in food and beverage, and that is an exciting time for Vietnam. So it's about lifting the training standards for the industry to match the requirements of the international tourism growth.
Since you've been working in multiple countries such as Australia, Singapore, and now here in Vietnam, is there any difference in the focus of training as well as the criteria of the recognized learning period?
And actually, the first thing I want to add though is to training is language. In countries like Australia and Singapore, everything is taught in English. In Vietnam, English is a second language, so that is the first thing, is increasing the English. When we talk about RPL, recognition of prior learning, is working with industry to recognise the skills and knowledge that are required in the workplace. In Australia or in Singapore, that is very advanced, where somebody who's been working in industry 5, 10, 20 years but does not have a qualification can have their skills and knowledge mapped against a qualification, receive full credit or part credit, and then do some gap training. That is very new in the Vietnam market. Your international hotel brands like your Intercontinentals, Crown Plazas, whether they be Hilton or Hyatt, Novotel, they all have international training that's provided in-house, and it's providing recognition of that training to meet the national requirements in Vietnam and then to ASEAN and international qualifications like Australia. So it's recognising that.
Vietnam Tourism Occupational Skill Standards is a comprehensive certification framework with necessary criteria to develop quality tourism restaurants, hotel service industry in Vietnam. VTOS 2013 inherited contents from previous versions in accordance with the regulations of Vietnam, but improved to be compatible with international and ASEAN vocational skill standards. However, to date, only 30% of the total industry labor had achieved this certificate. Foreseeing the potential development and the needs of the hospitality labor market, Vietnam is an attractive destination for many international training facilities for tourism and hotel management. Trainees here share a common passion for the work and the satisfaction with the practical and professional training system according to international standards.
Theo như mình được biết thì ngành du lịch và khách sạn ở Việt Nam đang rất là phát triển. Vì thế cho nên là nó sẽ có rất nhiều cơ hội trong nghề nghiệp để làm việc. Và đó cũng là một phần, và một phần nữa là vì mình rất là đam mê và mình thích cái nghề này.
Sự khác biệt rõ ràng nhất có lẽ đấy là cái môi trường học tập ở đây, từ giảng viên cho đến chương trình học hay thậm chí là những cái vật dụng và điều kiện để mình thực tập thực hành thì rất là tốt.
Hàng ngày thì mình sẽ được các thầy cô giáo ở đây dạy cho mình những cái kỹ năng về cơ bản nhất để cho một người bếp trở thành một người bếp chuyên nghiệp, và tiến xa nữa là trở thành những người có thể quản lý và vận hành được một cái hệ thống bếp lớn ở khách sạn 4 5 sao.
To enhance competitiveness and making Vietnam become an attractive destination, international and domestic universities and training colleges should be more equipped and always improve to train a young qualified labor force that meets the need of the tourism and hospitality industry.
You have working in multiple projects constructing the quality recognitions system of ASEAN countries. So how do you perceive the recognitions and quality control system of the hospitality training institutions in Vietnam? Has it met the international standards yet?
It's getting there. It's certainly improved. Yeah, getting involved in those projects as a guest on behalf of the Vietnamese government to work with the ASEAN Secretariat is about providing some expertise back about models that have worked in Australia or Singapore previously, and how to have competency-based assessments that meet industry requirement. Training in the past was very theoretical based. It needs to move to a very skills-based, practical type of training which provides competency for students and links to employability. When a student graduates and gains a job in a hotel, they should not require retraining. They should be employable upon entry into that hotel. So that has changed, and there has been an acceptance in the Vietnamese market for that. New rollout of the 2013 VIET actually does align to the ASEAN mutual recognition arrangement for tourism professionals, so will be equivalent.
Statistically, only 30% among laborers working in the hospitality industry of Vietnam obtain a VTOS, so East certificate guarantee place in the market labor of hospitality in Vietnam.
Currently at the moment, to answer the question short, no. Look, it's about the enforcement of VIET. Some provinces in Vietnam enforce and regulate that 70% of operational employees must have a VIET requirement. Other provinces do not enforce that. So until VIET becomes nationally enforced, then those percentages that you just mentioned will not increase. But there is benefit to the VIET, in the skills and the knowledge that the students exhibit. But you're saying about that too, it's making VIET and hospitality sexy for students to undertake. As a parent, would I prefer for my son or daughter to undertake medicine or law or business, or would I prefer for them to do hospitality? Hospitality is a growth industry. It's an area that not only people do food and beverage or cooking or housekeeping, they actually can become accountants, they become sales and marketing managers, human resource managers, engineers, they can become general managers. So it's an industry where there's great opportunity, not just nationally, but internationally, because it's a passport to the world. So it's about promoting its appeal to students.
What are your assessment about the ability of the Vietnamese students? Is there a strength and weakness and the adaptability and compatibility to the domestic and international market?
It's about their willingness to learn the language at the same time as the skills. The skills, very adaptable in learning them, whether they be in the kitchen, whether they be reservations, whether they be food and beverage or housekeeping. But the importance to make sure that the language improves at the same time, that English is being taught at the school level more, and definitely in the colleges and universities, and that will make everything very successful for the future. The other thing I wish to add though is, in countries like Australia and other Western countries, America or Europe, working part-time while studying is something that a student would do. And as a Vietnamese student going to Australia, they would work part-time whilst they study. In Vietnam, it's about making students adaptable, encouraging that approach too, that when they study full-time, they can work part-time to enhance their skills, but also to gain some pocket money. And that really would round off the adaptability of the students.
And finally, do you have any words of advice for those students who want to pursue a career path in the hospitality industry?
The opportunity is now. It's the growth industry. I really do want to promote the sexiness and the appeal of hospitality. That's a career, not for short term, but for long term. People can make a lifetime career out of it. We see in all the international hotels that there's expatriate, directors and general managers. Yet the push is to see Vietnamese, directors and general managers here in these international hotels in the future. I believe that can happen through the grounding of good qualifications, diploma, advanced diploma, degree qualifications, and linking skills and knowledge training all in one. A Vietnamese graduate to work in an international hotel and then be a passport to the world, to go and work overseas and then come back in the future, is a great opportunity for the individual and a great opportunity for Vietnam to benefit from the experience of those students when they return and bring back their knowledge.
Thank you, Mr. Justin, so much for all of your sharing today. And that's the end for Sharing Vietnam today. Thank you so much for watching us. Hope that this show has provided you some insights that could be valuable for those who want to pursue a career in the hospitality industry of Vietnam. Any questions and recommendations, please email to sharingvietnam@netvietttv.net. Thank you and see you again.